Okay, let's kick off this deep dive. We're digging into a question from the sources you sent over. It sounds simple, but, well, it gets tricky fast. Does scaling a data platform like Talend just mean adding more developers?
That's the core question.
And, Talend is this big name in enterprise data integration. Super powerful for connecting systems, transforming data, ensuring quality.
Absolutely. It delivers huge value, especially early on.
Right, but the sources point out this moment. Companies trying to scale up their talent use suddenly hit a wall,
Yeah, a very common scenario.
and just adding more developers to build jobs doesn't seem to fix the underlying issue.
Exactly. That's not the solution at that point.
So our mission today is really to unpack what the source material says scaling talent actually involves, why it's different from just growing the dev team.
And what the sources really hammer home is that scaling is a completely different kind of challenge. It's not just more effort.
Not just more pipeline building,
No. It demands a different, more specialized skill set.
more specialized. Okay, so what really changes when you reach that scaling point?
Well, the whole focus shifts, you know? You're moving away from just thinking about a single job, like data from A to B.
Right.
Now you're managing this incredibly complex ecosystem. The sources talk about things like intricate job dependencies.
Like a domino effect if one thing fails.
Precisely. One failure can ripple through dozens, maybe hundreds of processes downstream. Then there's performance tuning.
Which becomes much harder.
Oh, yeah. It's not just tweaking one component. You need to analyze the whole system. High availability becomes critical.
Can't afford downtime.
No way. And you need really robust orchestration, solid governance, and importantly, those integrated DevOps pipelines for reliability.
That sounds like, well, that sounds like exactly where things can start to fall apart if you're not ready. Is that the source of those pain points the materials mentioned?
That's it, exactly. If you don't manage that complexity with the right skills, you get those nightmare scenarios the sources describe.
Like what?
Like jobs tripping over each other randomly. Developers pulled into firefighting at 2 a.m.
Ugh, the late night alerts.
Yeah. Spending all their time troubleshooting production instead of, innovating or building new value, you end up just scaling the pain.
Scaling the pain, not the value.
Oh.
Okay, so what specific technical superpowers do the sources say you do need, then, to handle that complexity?
Well, it's a few key areas. Performance optimization, but way beyond basic component tuning.
Like what, specifically?
Like deep system-level diagnostics, understanding resource contention, memory use in the talent administration center, database bottlenecks, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Then there's actual talent platform administration expertise. Managing job servers, dealing with tricky cloud or hybrid setups, configuring high availability correctly.
So knowing the Talend tools inside and out, not just the developer studio.
Absolutely. And implementing and managing proper CI/CD pipelines is huge too.
CI/CD. Continuous integration, continuous deployment.
Yes. The sources really stress automating deployments, getting code tested and pushed consistently, reliably, without manual steps causing errors.
Makes sense. Less room for human error.
Right. And finally, sophisticated data quality strategies and orchestration to maintain trust as the whole thing grows.
So the sources are really clear. It's not just about coding more. It's a fundamental shift in thinking.
Yeah.
And discipline.
Totally. It's about architecting and managing a resilient high-performance platform, not just, a bunch of individual jobs.
Okay, so for you listening, the sources are kind of posing some important questions, especially if you're leading a data team. Like, do you have CI/CD tailored specifically for talent? Can your team optimize beyond the jobs themselves, the infrastructure, the talent application layer?
Yeah, those are critical.
Are there clear automated processes for promoting code, handling errors, monitoring effectively at scale?
And for developers, the sources frame this as a real chance to level up their skills.
An opportunity.
Oh,
Outside.
Well, they suggest learning the admin side, getting comfortable with tools like Git, Jenkins, Azure DevOps, mastering Talend's data quality features.
So broadening the skill set.
Definitely. But maybe the biggest shift is moving from just doing tasks to thinking architecturally. How does this piece fit into the bigger picture?
That makes a lot of sense. And the payoff. What do the sources say happens when organizations get this right?
The benefits are significant. Much faster pipelines, way fewer outages, and just better business outcomes.
Because the data integration layer is actually reliable.
Exactly. It becomes an engine driving the business, not a constant headache. The source material leaves us with this really strong image. Talent itself has the power, the horsepower, for demanding tasks.
Right.
But achieving success at scale really hinges on having the right drivers behind the wheel.
The right drivers,
Hmm.
meaning the specialized skills to handle all that complexity we talked about.
That's the essence of it.
Right? Drivers behind the wheel. That sums it up perfectly. So as you think about your own context, your own Talend setup, consider if you have that specialized expertise needed to truly scale.
Hmm. Beyond just adding headcount.
Right, beyond just developers writing jobs, the sources definitely suggest that acquiring that expertise or maybe finding support is key to scaling Talend the right way.
Something important to think about.
Definitely something to consider. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.